and this definitely worked out perfect. So for you, the first thing that I would like to ask is, and as a matter of fact, before we go into it, is can you just tell us just a little bit about yourself and your mission as far as, what you're doing out in the world and who you're being a hero to?
Yeah, my mission in life is to try to move, touch, and inspire people. I've been in the fitness industry now for almost 18 years. And, one of the biggest things about being in the fitness industry is you always teach, health and nutrition. And that's a great, aspect of the human body and self-development and things like that. But what I've really come to the conclusion, over the last year, has been you really can't truly take somebody to the level of health and success with their life that they want unless you teach the mind connection, the spirituality, and really create some tools for people to use in their life to help them keep in better track. And the biggest thing about it is you can have somebody work out every day, and you can have them eat uber healthy and super organic and run and train and do all these things. But if they're not healthy upstairs, and if their heart, and when I say heart, I mean their spirit, is broken or is not on board, they're never going to truly reach their full potential. And so that's been a big focal point for me over the last year that I've really changed my scope of coaching and education on, is how to really put the attention on the total mind connection. And that includes 4 different areas of life. That includes exercise, of course, and making sure that we're eating healthy. It includes our relationships, most importantly the relationship that I have with myself, and self-love, but also the relationships of, my spouse, my daughter, my friends, my family, my coaching clients. Another section I really like to focus on is what we call being. And being is my own spirituality, and that has to do with meditation for the most part, Anthony. It's that spiritual connection where I'm able to actually quiet my mind and not allow all that outside noise to come in. And most importantly, the other piece is also business, because for me to continue to exercise, for me to continue to eat healthy, for me to continue to do all these things that I'm talking about, I have to have some sort of, income coming in that's successful. And I need to put attention into it every single day of my life so that I continue to move forward and grow.
I love that. And, I wish I had, 2 hours with you, but I know we're going to be able to get a lot of content, a lot of, spiritual breakthrough for a lot of people, mentally, physically, just in this, this 20 minutes. But, what I've been able to do is I was following you for a long time on Facebook, and you have just been such a giver of, knowledge through, the meditation and just, a giver of your story. And I think about so many different things that are on your Facebook. And guys, please follow Danny on his Facebook. And actually, I don't need to tell you please. If you're looking to have more of a breakthrough and be able to make that change mentally, physically, and spiritually, you got to get on his page. And so, for me, I know when we had talked, you had talked about doing a 7-day Facebook challenge, and I did that, and it was amazing how that helped me with breakthrough. And basically what I was getting out of it is talking about all the things that you overcame. Can you tell me how you've been able to create this? I mean, literally it's a blitz. There's so many, hundreds upon hundreds of people that are doing this, probably thousands of people that are doing the 7-day video challenge. How did this come about? And can you just give us a little information on that?
Yeah, you know what? I had a spiritual breakthrough. I had a physical spiritual breakthrough about 8.5, 9 months ago. And I really came to terms with who I was. And what I did is I realized that I'd been living an unauthentic life. I'd been a fake and a facade for a long time to a lot of people. And not only people, but to myself more importantly. I became what I call a chameleon. And it didn't matter if I was at the gym, then I was the gym guy. If I was at the nice restaurant, I was the, prim and proper guy that was dressed up. And I never lived an authentic life because I always thought that I needed to be somebody else to make everybody happy. So this spiritual breakthrough comes through for me 8.5, 9 months ago. And I'm sitting there after, this retreat that I go on, and I'm thinking to myself, what is my biggest fear in life? You know, my biggest fear in life is public speaking. It's getting in front of people, and it's telling my story. It's actually being vulnerable and authentic with people and actually dropping the walls, dropping the protective armor that I always wear, and telling people the truth. And so I thought to myself, you know, there's no way I'm just going to climb up in front of 100 people or 1,000 people, and who the heck wants to listen to me talk anyways? So I'm sitting there and I'm looking at my phone and I'm thinking, what if I got real and authentic and like vulnerable on Facebook? Because I had like 80 friends, I think 83, 8 months ago, right? So I make this video and I tell myself this rule. I have to do it on one take, and I'm going to hit record, end, and then I'm going to send it to Facebook. And I'm not going to look at it. I'm not going to try to edit it. I'm not going to, and if I stutter, I stutter. If I break down and cry, I break down and cry. And I did it. And so after the first one, I thought to myself, you know what, if I could do this for one day, why can't I do this for 7 days? And it was challenging, Nancy. You went through this challenge just like I did. And by day 3, I'm starting to think to myself, nobody's paying attention to this. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. And more importantly, I'm thinking to myself, like, what do I have to say? But each day, like, I would do a quiet meditation. I'd clear my mind, and I'd come up with a story that I wanted to share with people. Or one time, this was one of the biggest breakthroughs for me. After my first video, I think it was my 3rd or 4th video, a very, very close friend of mine from years and years ago sends me a private message on Facebook, and he sees these videos that I've created and the buzz that's kind of being created, because for the first time, somebody's like doing this thing called a 7-day Facebook video challenge. Nobody knows what it is. So he sends me this private message, and he says to me, you know what? We used to be really good friends, and we worked together. I was even your manager. Like, I was your landlord at the time, Dane, when you were getting your gym started. And I really, really looked up to you. You were always this great guy. You were so fit, and you had all the cool things and the blah, 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 and the this and that. But he's like, you treated me like a jerk. You really did. You were so self-centered, and all I wanted to do was be your friend. And you just always turned a blind shoulder to me. And as I was reading that message, I pulled over. I'll never forget. There was a Jack in the Box parking lot. I literally pulled my truck over, and I broke down in tears. And I got my phone out, and I filmed a public apology. And I didn't send it directly to him. I put it on Facebook. And it took him 10 minutes, and he sent me, like, the most grateful message I've ever received from anybody. And he's like, dude, you didn't have to do that, but you don't realize what you did for me. Like, you cured 5 years of, like, unhappiness that I was going through, like, working with you, because you were always, like, you know, trying to one-up me, or you were always this and that. And I told the truth to him. I said, dude, I was envious of you. You were bigger and stronger. You were older. You had more money. You had a better business. And I'm like, I was jealous and envious, and I said that publicly. And what it did was, like, it opened up my eyes to the world of, like, the truth hurts sometimes, but the truth sets you free. Like, there is so much power in telling somebody the truth instead of the lies that I used to tell. So that's what really got the momentum started. And I think that was, like, halfway through the challenge. And then I just kept going and going and going and going. And it's, you know, I've got that event coming up June 24th here in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's called The Meltdown in the Desert. And what I'm going to do is, for the first time in front of a large audience, I'm actually going to tell my story and how I've utilized that 7-day Facebook challenge and how I've utilized it to help other people. Because one of the hardest things for people to do is to get real. They hide behind their stories, they hide behind their lies, and they're unhappy. And it's silly to think of, but with this cell phone that's sitting in front of me right now, this smartphone, I have the ability to break down those walls and help other people, help myself, and that's when that video challenge has really started to happen.
I'm really speechless, and it's just amazing, you know, being able to start off with 83 friends, and then now this started off, you said, correct, in the beginning of the year with 83 friends on Facebook, correct?
Yeah, I think I believe it was 8 months ago. I think I had 83, and then before that, I didn't even have a Facebook page really. It's something that I would always put up and take down. And I don't even know. I'm maxed out on friends. You know, I believe I have, I don't know, 5,000 or 10,000 followers. Who knows? I don't pay attention. But to think that it went from 80 to, let's say, 10,000 in a period of 8 months, that is powerful. And it doesn't matter, like, if you're trying to create, like, self-betterment, right, self-development, look at the increase, like, of friends and contacts and, like, people that believe in your message that you've created. I mean, that's massive to go from 80 to 10,000. But also think about it from a business model, too. Think about it if you have a business or a company or a product or a service that you would want to sell. Look at the reach that I have now with the marketplace of 10 or 15, 20,000 people. Not to mention, like, with that reach, you put a video out, and within a couple hours, you got 5 or 10,000 views. It is so powerful, and if people overlook it in social media, because video is where it's at. Like, if you can look at the camera and let people see through your eyes and feel you, like, really truly feel you, you can, like, connect with people. Way more importantly, like, way more connection than me typing out one of the best posts of content that I've ever written. The video is truly what connects with people.
And, you know, that it just blows me away because the explosion that you've had on your page, you know, I know you don't really follow it, but you can do a post on a meditation, guys. And by the way, you know, you guys check those out on his page. And I don't know if he's able to accept any more friends, Danny's page, but we'll find another resource for you to go to, probably a website for him, and we'll talk more about that later. But, you know, it just blows me away how I'll read that and it'll free me, you know, and I want to thank you for that. You know, I'll read, like, the daily inspiration, and it's nuts. I mean, there'll be, like, you know, over 700 likes and, like, you know, 500 comments, you know. And, I mean, you could probably teach not probably, you can easily teach.
And then it's Coach Anthony, and
Hello?
I want you to write down your.
Are you there, Anthony?
Yeah, I'm here. Yes.
Okay.
And, I mean, you could easily teach a Facebook lesson and, you know, really, I mean, blow that up and probably have Mark Zuckerberg call you up and say, hey, can you tell people how to create likes and comments? You know, it just blows me away. But I want to talk more about the meltdown in the desert and how people can be involved, either going down there, because I know a lot of people are interested here in California, across the country, on how they can get there. Hey, guys, if you guys can grab a pen and paper, please, right now, or if you're driving, don't do that, but make a mental note. There will be a replay on this call. But how can they either get involved directly going there on a plane, or how can they get involved maybe virtually, or being able to give in money or time in whatever way to be able to get there to the meltdown in the desert?
Absolutely. The best way to connect is through Facebook. I've got my own page set up. It's called Meltdown in the Desert, and all you need to do is just type that in.
It's Coach Anthony, and if you tag on me.
Hello?
Yeah, sorry about that.
Okay, yeah, no problem. Just getting a little background noise. And if there's anyone on there, if you guys can, please, there's only going to be about 5 more minutes. For some reason, the mute didn't work, and I can see that everyone else that was on the call has been very respectful of that, and I thank you for that. Sometimes Murphy Laws comes in, but we're still going to make it work and blow this up. So if you can, please mute your phone, and Danny, if you can continue on.
Yeah, so best thing to do is just go up to Facebook and in your search at the top, just type down the Meltdown in the Desert. I've got my own page set up, and Sean Whalen's on there with me, Colby Colias, and Anna Sully. The 3 of them are joining me. It's June 24th, and it's going to start at 5:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's going to go to 8:30, and then I've got a special edition of Rush Club that is my other company that is actually going to start right after that show. So for anybody that can come to the show or that wants to come to the show, I would definitely invite you. It's going to be an extremely powerful night. I'm bringing in some special guests, some veterans, some people that are celebrity status in the veteran world as well as the adaptive and athletic world. And they're going to come in. We're going to do our weigh-ins for my Rush Club event, which is the next night. But the easiest thing to do is simply just go to that page. There's a link on there where you can buy tickets. After the show is done, I've hired a professional videographer team. They're going to do the entire thing, and then there'll be a link on my Meltdown page where they can watch it if they're unable to be there in person. So that'll probably take 5 to 10 days, Anthony, to go through post edit and things like that, and then that'll be up, and I'll make sure that you guys have a link to that as well.
I love that, yeah. And by the way, guys, what we're going to do is I'm going to ask Danny just two more questions, and then we're going to go ahead and open up the line to ask any questions that you have about the meltdown, or any of the services that Danny can offer and will offer. And so I just want to give a shout out to everyone that is definitely on this call. Just so thankful and blessed for you. And then also to Katrina and Gina, which are my assistants, which are amazing. And what they're going to do is they're going to package this call. They're going to get all the information on this call. They're going to blog about it on this page. And then we're also going to send this out to our email list, our like pages, our Facebook, and that's over 15,000 people. So guys, make sure that you guys get that opportunity. Go down to the meltdown. It's going to be definitely in person. It's going to be even better. I believe, obviously on video, they're going to be able to capture a lot of greatness on there and a lot of amazing people on there. But if you can get down there in person, Danny, what would you say? Because what I saw for myself and a lot of my clients, the morning ritual has really created a huge change in my life. I know you talked a little bit about meditation. Can you just go over your morning ritual? I listened to a podcast, which, by the way, the two gentlemen that I interviewed you did an amazing job, and I got to listen to that the hour and a half, and it felt like it went by in 13 minutes. It was just so smooth. Is that, what you were talking about was very powerful, your breakthrough and all those types of things. But what I really loved about it is you said, like, you'll see a piece of paper that's on the floor, and even if it's not your piece of paper, you'll pick it up and throw it away. But you're saying how this goes into every area of your life. And for me, it really convicted me, because, I used to be the guy that, I would, not put his shopping cart away. Now I started doing that, but then, now I do have a few closets in my house that are not clean. I got a few calls that I don't make a day, right? And I'll beat myself up for that. But I see with you, mentally, physically, I mean, you're on top of it. Tell me how that one little thing of picking up a paper, but, tying that into your morning rituals. How does that help you?
It's my mantra, Anthony. And my mantra is how you do one thing is how you do all things. And it carries over in every single aspect of my life. The way that I exercise, like the way that I attack weights, my cardio, my CrossFit, whether I'm boxing or doing MMA, the ferocity that I attack those workouts with is the same ferocity and like energy that I put towards my business. It's the same energy that I hug my wife and daughter with. It's the same energy that I put into my meditation. And for me, like I have to start first thing in the morning. And people think I'm nuts when they hear this, but I wake up at 3:15 in the morning. And they're like, why would you do that? You're crazy. And you know what? I am crazy. And that's why I'm happy and I'm successful. But I have clients that start at 5 or 6 a.m. every day that I begin working with, especially because I work with people on the East Coast and I'm West Coast. So for me to make time for myself with zero distractions, right? Because if I'm going to meditate, I can't have the garbage truck going by. I can't have the postman ringing the doorbell. I can't have my daughter doing, Snapchat in the other room, or, the family or the dogs or all the distractions that we have around us. I can't have that. So I create an hour and a half first thing in the morning to myself where I actually get to do my ritual. My ritual is to knock out a quick workout at the house. I do education for myself every day. Like I study something both for personal growth and also for business growth, where I'm constantly educating myself on how can I be a better human being to help somebody else tomorrow? How can I put more money in my bank account each day? Like what can I do? And so I'm constantly educating myself. Food prep, it's so important. You, especially in the fitness industry, I mean, that, if I've got all my food prepped and packed in my cooler and ready to go throughout the entire day, there's no excuse for me to not eat. And food is so important fuel, especially for guys like me that run 15, 16, 18 hours a day. So that morning ritual it creates the tempo for the entire day. It creates the tune for the entire day. And what I mean by that is is literally how I do that in the morning is how I treat the rest of the day. And it's just attention to detail. It's organization. It's being so uber focused that truthfully when I do see that piece of paper on the ground, I'm like, that's the straw. You rip off the straw. It falls down on the floor. You're at that restaurant. And 90% of the people in the world are like, the heck with it. Somebody else will pick it up. But that's the mentality that puts people, backwards in life. When you take ownership for that thing and you think, you know what, I dropped it, I'm going to pick it up. I take responsibility for it. It's one thing ties into another thing into another thing. And the guys and the women that I coach, here's the biggest downfall that I see with them, and this is what I coach people on, is they'll put 90% of their attention into their business, 5% attention into their health, and 5% into their relationship, and zilch into their mental clarity. And that's why they're unhappy. That's why they get divorced. That's why they file bankruptcy. And the reason that, I have the credibility to say that is I used to be that guy. If you listen to that podcast, you'll know 3 years ago I filed bankruptcy. I lost every single thing I had. I was in jail 3 years ago. I couldn't do, 30 push-ups 2 years ago because I let myself go. So I've had to put attention to detail on all of those areas, and I live vicariously through my daily ritual. It's so important. And the reason that I could never stop is I would be afraid that I would fall backwards. And I never want to go back to that life that I used to live. So that's why I'm so dedicated, ruthlessly committed to every single thing that I do every day.
Man, I wish we had more time, and maybe we can after the desert set up another call, and we'll just see how that goes, because this has just been such an enriching experience, and I know it's an enriching experience for each and every person that's been on this call. And we will have the replay once again so you guys can listen to. Remember that the meltdown that's going to be down in the desert that's coming up here in the next couple of weeks. Also, too, you want to make sure to like that page. We're going to have all that information going on inside this event page, plus on my Facebook page, and we're sending it out to the email list. Katrina and Gina will be setting that up and packaging it, and making sure that we get that to everybody. Also, too, we'll be getting emails and all that stuff too as well. So So real quickly, I just want to open up this call right now. And once again, I just want to thank everybody, for dealing with the technical difficulties, and you too, Danny. Thank you so much. But we got about 3 minutes right now. Is there any questions that you have for Danny that has to do with the meltdown in the desert, or anything as far as his services, or any questions that you may have in that regard? Go ahead and ask them, and please say your name first, and then go ahead and ask that question. And the line's open.
Yeah, my name is Joey.
Hey, Joey. How you doing, buddy?
Good. You're so much like me. The whole I'm the same way when it comes to having a lunchbox, being ready, prepared for my day, all types of stuff. But that morning ritual, I'm just been under a path. Actually, I'm training underneath Anthony as a coach for Mindset Academy, and so I've been developing that personal ritual for myself, and it seems like I'm pretty good at it, but it's so hard sometimes to dial in and get my head quiet, and I just was wondering, maybe there's a different type of tool you use, maybe there's what do you listen to for meditation when it comes to that?
Yeah, Joey, there are different levels of meditation, and a beginner level would be to download something like Insight Timer or Headspace with your earbuds in, okay? It's a great way to start, and it's a great way to kind of put your toe in the water, if you will. And what it does is it teaches you about breathing. It kind of guides you, and it lets you go, for 10, 15, 20 minutes. And if you're going to go that route, what I would recommend to people is try as many different meditations as you can and find one that you resonate and that you truly connect with, that you feel yourself kind of drifting off to sleep almost, if you will. Yeah. And also experiment with men's voice versus a women's voice, because sometimes us as guys, we might resonate better, and it's more of a calming effect to hear a woman's voice. So, that's kind of the first layer. The second layer of meditation is to do what's called ascension. And ascension meditation is theoretically this. It's basically you create a quiet space in the house. There cannot be any distractions, okay? And with zero distractions, what I want you to do is I want you to find an open energy space in the house. So, guys sometimes will go to a closet because we think, I'll close the doors and it's going to be quiet in here. But think about it. That's a bunch of walls and doors and clothes that's locked in that energy. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to connect with the universe. We're trying to connect with a higher power. If you're religious, if you're not religious, it doesn't matter. You're just trying to create connectivity with the universe. And if something pops into your head, whether it be creative or relaxing or calming or clarity, you want to be in a big room. So I like to go meditate outside, or I'll go to the great room where there's not a lot of furniture, there's a lot of windows, and I'll lay down, arms across my chest, and I repeat what's called a mantra. And the mantra that I use, you guys can write this down, and we can post this on Anthony's page. It's, I honor my breath for my love and delight. And Ascension is saying that same mantra over and over and over. So I set a timer on my phone for 15 minutes, and I simply just keep repeating that into my head. And about 6 or 7 minutes in, I dip into a meditative state, and I'm no longer saying anything, and I just dream, and I have quiet clarity. So again, it's I honor my breath for my love and light. And you could exchange that word with a couple other words that connect with you, like I honor my love for my love and light. I honor my light. I honor whatever the word might be that connects with you, but you don't want it to be something tangible like I honor my wife or my mom. It can't be something like that. It's got to be something that you spiritually can connect with, like on an intuitive level. So my favorite is that word breath. And I love it because I cross my hands across my chest. So every time I say the word breath, I feel my chest and my ribs expand, and I feel them deflate. And what that does is that's just basically putting me into an ascension meditation, which just drops me into a deep, quiet space for my head. But that would be my recommendation, Joey. Those two things, work phenomenally for people. If you can start with an app, practice quieting, practice getting used to meditation, and then truly jump in with ascension, that one is extremely powerful.
You said it was I honor my breath?
Yes, sir.
And what else?
I honor my breath for my love and light.
For my love and light?
Yes, sir. I honor my breath. Yeah, I honor my breath for my
love and light. Okay.
Yeah. And say it with power. Like, remember, you're saying it in your head. You're not saying this out loud, but put energy behind it. Like, if I was to say it in my head like this is how I would say it. I honor my breath for my love and light. And I would keep repeating that, and I would use, I would be so powerful when I say it because I wanted to connect with whatever it is that's out there, or I wanted to connect with my body so that I create clarity and quietness.
Well, thank you.
My pleasure, dude. Absolutely. It's a pleasure to meet you, too. Thanks for listening.
Yeah.
Joey, thank you so much for asking such a great question. And guys, do remember, too, we have about one more minute real quick. And actually, Danny, is that okay if we do one more minute for one more question?
Sure, I would love to, guys. I've got time.
Okay, great. So we got just a little bit more time for a couple more questions. And also, too, Danny does online training, too, as well. So, PM him on his Facebook or do it on the Light page. And once again, we'll have all the information here on the event. That'll make it very clear for you to be able to grab on and get with his services. So is there any other questions? Please ask them now. Don't wait till later. Please ask those questions.
Yes, this is Daniel.
Hey, Daniel. How you doing?
Hey, buddy. First, I really just want to say thank you. Through PM messages throughout today. Dude, you've been in my head all day.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.
It's I guess my question is based off of how your story went with everything you went through. and your spiritual and your physical, your mental breakthrough.
Yes, sir.
How did you share that with those around you without basically scaring the crap out of everybody with what you were, you know what I mean? Because that's where I'm at, you know?
Daniel, it was the hardest thing in the world. And what I call that is called radical resistance. And it's tough because I came back a different person from, when I had my spiritual breakthrough, I came back a different guy. And everybody around me was like, what's going on with you? You're a different person. Like, where did Danny go? And then you look like 3 or 4 weeks after I got back from my trip, and then all of a sudden I come up on Facebook and I start putting out these things like these things that I've always kept inside, right? And then they're now really second guessing me, like, why would you post that on Facebook? You're crazy. Like, and what's happening is I call it the crab effect. And the crab effect basically is when you start to climb up the bucket, right, you start to climb for a higher value, a higher place in life, a higher energy, vibrating at a different pace than everybody else. They want you to come back down. And the flip side of it is you know what? They're used to our behavior too, Daniel, right? Like, I misbehaved for 18 years. I was a jerk. I was a liar. I was a cheat. And I did all these bad things. So people were used to that old Danny. So when you make these changes like you're going through, Daniel, and like that I've gone through, 7, 8, 9 months ago, I had to respect that people's judgments of me were true. You know what? It's you guys you've only known me for the last 12 years, and I've portrayed this to you. I've been a bit of a crap head. I've been a jerk, and what happens is you have to focus on yourself. You have to remember every single day that nobody's going to do your work for you. Nobody's going to come save you. And it's your life to own. You are the architect. You get to design your life from there. And it doesn't matter what people say or do. They're going to always try to second guess you. And you've got to keep your eye on the prize and remember what it is you want and keep going after it. And sooner or later, I got to be honest with you, dude, I'm 8, 9 months in deep, right? I have changed my life a complete 180. And now people are like, man, I get it. I just, it was so weird at first. Like, you came out of the gate so strong, but you've maintained. And you're still, speaking the truth, and you're still being real, and you're still being authentic with us. And now these people who used to badmouth me, who used to stab me in the back or throw me in the bus and be like, but you used to be this. Now those are the guys that are private messaging me. Those are the women that are contacting me saying, please help my husband. Save him like you saved yourself. So do you have to remember it's you? Like, we've been coached, like the programs I've been through, the king eats first. And if I'm working with a female, it's the queen eats first. And what that means is that you have to put yourself first. Nobody else before you. And people argue with me all the time. They're like, no, my wife is more important, my kids. You know what? I understand that. But if you're not taking care of yourself, then you can't be there for your wife and kids.
Exactly.
Every single day, it's like we talked about my morning ritual. Like, I have to do those things before anybody else is up, because then I'm the best father and husband that I can be for my family. So you just have to remember and realize that if you're making changes, other people aren't. They're not going to be okay with it, and just realize that this is the way it is, and you keep moving forward. The train keeps going, and it's going to be fine.
Thank you very much, buddy, and I look forward to meeting you in person at the Meltdown.
It's going to be a blast, dude. We're going to have a great night, and I hope you can stay for Rush Club the next night. Rush Club is going to be the biggest explosive show you've ever seen. But
I will be there as well.
Good, man. Definitely, the Meltdown's going to be insane, because I'm going to divulge my secrets of success and how I've created such a following using video, and nobody knows about them, and it's something I can't wait to share with the world.
Well, Danny, again, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. It's my pleasure, my friend.
Hey, Daniel, thank you so much, Danny, for sharing that. And then if you can, let's just go ahead and do one more question real quick for Danny Page. One more question.
Hey, Danny, it's Sean.
Sean, what's going on, my buddy?
What's going on, brother? Hey, I'm glad I sat in on this phone call, and the reason why is it's now that Now that we're in, sorry about my GPS. You know what I'm doing today. But I'm glad I did, because now that I'm like in decompression mode still, it's nice to have this played back in my head. Again, you know, with all my notes and everything else, but it's nice to hear you hit on some of these topics that we discussed. That, you know, it's nice to have you, now that I'm coming down a little bit, you know, it's nice to hear those points.
It's a good reminder, Sean, and for everybody that's listening right now, Sean just came through one of my weekend intensive programs. He lives in Florida, and he flew in to Florida, to Phoenix, and spent, roughly 2.5 or 3 days with me. We literally cried together, we bled together, we sweated together, and we went through one of the deepest physical and emotional and spiritual breakthroughs that I've ever experienced. And Sean is one of the most amazing clients and people that I've ever worked with. Sean, it was truly a pleasure to see what you went through. I'm still decompressing from what happened and what I saw take place. But you saved your life, and I've seen it through Facebook in the last couple of days. You've got your family back, you have your wife back, you have your children back, and you are the man that you wanted to be when you came here. And it's amazing to think in 2.5 or 3 days, you created your entire dream life all by doing the work.
Exactly. And I do want to tell you that burpees still suck, and I did them this morning. Anthony, I'm not a little guy, and I'm probably not the healthiest of client Danny has ever had. I am 6'2" and almost 300 pounds, and I played sports growing up, and I let my body go. And we did 100 of those, and plus a bunch of other stuff, but that was death to me.
And you did it, my friend, and you told me one thing. You stood up after doing 100 burpees, you looked at me right in the face, and you said, you know what, I didn't quit. For the first time in my life, I did not quit. And that's the analogy, Anthony, that I work with in life. When anybody that comes work with me, that's whether it's a female or a male, is if you can understand that principle of never quitting on anything in life, there's nothing that's going to stop you. There's no relationship that's going to be stopped. There's no no aspect of your health, there's no aspect of your business that's ever going to be stopped. And it's one of the most powerful things in the world. So, Sean, thank you again for coming out, dude. You were amazing.
Anytime, brother. I love you just as much as you love me, man.
Absolutely. Love you right back, dude.
Definitely. I'll talk to you later on this week, or I'll talk to you next week. You've got a full weekend plan.
All right, buddy. Be careful driving for me.
I will. I've got another 3.5 hours. Tell the family I said hi, please.
Will do, sir. All right, we'll talk to you.
All right, brother. Bye.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm just really blown away by this call, the breakthrough, and I'm just really excited, once again, for each and every person that was on the call. What great questions at the end, and I think at the end of the day, it just blows me away. I think maybe, the next time, right, is just having the amazing people ask the questions, right? I mean, it's been amazing, guys, and, I wouldn't make it really rocket science for anyone that's on the call. Really, just what you want to do is find Danny, and it's going to be very simple. If he's not able to accept any more friends, you can go on his like page. And, I'll have all that information on this event page, and then I'll post it on my Facebook. And then also, too, I'll have it on my YouTube and sending it to my email list. And just connect with him. And, get a spot at whatever you can. I know he has a bunch of different things that he can help you out on, but just get involved on something, one of the programs, and then from there, that's where the breakthrough comes in. I mean, you see at the end of this with Sean how he was, for him, it's just very simple, man enough, and all it does take is really 3 days. It really does. I mean, to really have an experience that blows you away, especially when you're with a world-renowned coach that knows how to get you to that point, to get you past the fluff, get you in the depths, and create the change that's needed. And I love the fact that, just ending with this is that what Danny said is not to quit. If you don't quit, wow, how powerful that is. Anything in your life, you're going to be able to get past. You're going to be able to get through. And so, and also understand, too, is that if you have any questions about, what the call is sponsored by, Thrive, you can always text me at 442-333-5009 and just text SUP, and then we'll do a quick 10-minute call. But I'm always going to direct you back to, because a supplement can help you, but what's going to change your life is being accountable to coaches like Danny Page, straight up. That's just the way it goes. And I'm so glad, Sean, that you made that leap. And Joey as well is very similar to Danny in so many ways, such strong men. If Joey wants more information, I'm going to definitely give him more information, and anyone else too. So, Danny, I want to thank you once again for your time, and even going just a little bit over time too as well. I want to thank everyone else that was on the call, and I'm going to go ahead and have this recorded. Danny, did you have any quick final thoughts or anywhere else that we could clearly send them to?
No, guys, just honestly, just follow me on my page. Just go to Danny Page and follow. And I'm very on top of my private messages. It might take me a day to get back to you, but shoot me a message if there's something I can help you with. And that's what I do. I'm here on this earth to serve. I've taken enough from this world and this life, and it's my opportunity and my love and passion is to give back and serve other people. So if there's anything I can do to help, definitely reach out to me. Remember, there's the Rush Club page that I have, Rush Club Nation. You can like that. I'm always posting information on there, as well as the Meltdown in the Desert. Those are the 3 great ways to connect with me. So, Anthony, thanks, honestly, from the bottom of my heart. This is, important to me to be able to reach out and touch other people. So I appreciate the opportunity to have this interview. And I'm just very grateful for everybody that listened and for the questions and for the questions we didn't get to answer. Shoot me a message, and I would love to connect.
I just sent you one.
Awesome.
Good. I'm looking for it.
You're probably buried in those messages, man. You probably have 200 or 300.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I thank you so much, Danny, for just giving that time and really digging deep inside of this call and being authentic like you always are. I think in the last 8 months, I really believe that you give it back more than you took in 18 years, and you've got so much more to give. And then also, too, I know that you probably had 200 or 300 other requests with podcasts that were way bigger than this, probably a lot more people on the call. But for you to get on this call with people that are centralized on wanting to make self-improvement, I really believe that this is going to go very, very far, and it's going to help as far as the depth, the type of person that's on this call. These people are really amazing people, and I know you know that too. So, guys, I'm really thankful. I'm going to go ahead and end the call. I'm going to go ahead and press *9, and I have it recorded. And then Katrina and Gina, our assistants, will be getting with everyone on their messengers and sending this call directly to you so you can share it on your Facebooks to your friends and even your email list for the upcoming events that are going on with Danny. So thank you so much once again, Danny, and you guys have a great night.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes, sir.